Once you get the Mixing Station Pro, that's a X32 Mixing Station Pro, installed onto your Android device, this is sort of what it's going to look like, except for in the middle left where the console IP address is, you'll have to click on that and it'll bring in, you'll have to change the last two sets of numbers. Yours will say 192.168.1.201 or .1. Something. Anyway, change the last two to 4.201 and then done and OK. And since you're not going to be connected to the console right away, we're going to just set this on offline. So that's the bottom button there, offline. Click on that. Yours is going to look nothing like this. This is mine after it's been completed. In order to get it to look like this, we're going to make edits in 3 different areas. And the first one is going to be in the application settings. So the ... upper right, click on that, and then setup, and then app. And there's 3 different general tabs. You want to make sure that they're set up just like this. So autosave on, theme dark, and then the screen mode. This is going to be important, especially if you have a smaller phone you're working with, like mine, which isn't that small. You want that to immersive, and the reason why that's important is because it actually gives you a little bit more room to set up our configuration, our layout, and without it, it won't quite fit. And so in fact, if things just still don't quite fit, then you can certainly come to me. And in fact, if you have any sort of frustrations getting this set up and you just can't figure it out, or you have some trouble, come see me and I will take care of it. I'll help you out. Okay, orientation lock. You'll want that on the landscape. Layer channel change on. USB MIDI doesn't matter actually. In fact, you probably could just leave it off. You can leave it off. There you go. Okay, so now on the mixer tab, you'll want it to look like this. So just go through each one of this. You can probably just pause this video and make sure everything's set just like this one. And there's especially one thing in that where it says blinking SOF, that sends on fader. That's how I've got it set up. If your sends on fader is going to the monitors, it's flashing so that you'll know you're not mixing the house sound, but you're mixing something else. So that's a really good safety net for you. So then the last channel strip, you'll want all of your settings just like this one. Again, you can just pause this while you make the setting changes. Okay, and then back. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is edit the layers. So the ... upper right, setup, and layers. You're going to have a bunch of different layers default, and you can get rid of all of them. So any ones that you leave behind are sort of in the list. You can change the orders of these by dragging from those 2 dots. If you put your finger on the 2 bars, put your finger on the 2 bars, you can drag them up and down to manipulate them. But anyways, if you just go ahead and get rid of everything that's in there, make it completely blank by touch and hold and then delete. And then when it's empty, then you press the plus to add a layer, and then you'll click on that layer name. You may have to press and hold, and that one, you're going to label that one worship. I'm going to go ahead and delete this thing. Okay, so once you get into worship, let me click and edit that. You're going to have like nothing there. It's just going to say name and worship and nothing underneath. So in the upper right, you click the plus, channel /DCA, and this is exactly what you're going to want on there, channel 1 through 12. And it's important the order that you put something in, the way you click it. So if I were to click off of channel 1 and then put it back, channel 1 would go to the very end and channel 2 would be the very first one. So you have to click channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, etc. If you mess up, you'll just have to start over again. So like for example, if I were to click on channel 32 and then 31, they'd be in reverse order. So if I go back there, you'll see channel 12, then channel 32, and channel 31. So I want to get rid of that. Get rid of both of those. So all you want is channels 1 through 12. And you're done with the worship one. Add another one. Rename it to service. And I'll show you what that one's going to look like. You'll name it to service. And then click on the plus. And then the channel DCA. And you're going to add, in this order, channel 13, 14, 15, 16, and then aux 1, 2, 5, and 6, and then bus 1, bus 2, and bus 3. I believe that's it. Go back, and then add another one, and you're going to label that effects. And again, you're going to have no channels underneath there until you click on the plus. Channels DCA, and then you'll add in your, I'm trying to remember which order I actually did that in. Yes, I did the bus channels first. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. Instead of doing the returns first, I go down here and put the bus 13, 14, 15, and 16, and then you'll click the FX 1, L, and R, etc. I just go all the way down. It's FX 1 through 4, left and right. And then it should look just like this. And so even if you are not planning on using effects ever, just get it set up like this just in case if you need me or somebody else to grab your phone and help you out in a pinch. Say there's effects on and you need to turn them off and you know how to get there. It's good to have everyone on the same layout. Alright, so there's your 3 layers that you should have, and the layers are done. And the last thing is this layout. Now yours still looks nothing like this. Don't worry, we're going to change that next. Dot, dot, dot in the upper right. Setup. And then layouts. Now this is not available in the free version. So everything else is available in the free version except for the layouts, as far as I know. So I'll click on this one that I just recently added. In fact, let me even get back out of that one. I'll go ahead and delete. So I can start off just like you and click a plus. And then I'll just name this new. You can name it whatever you want. I had mine named Sunday before. Okay, so here's a new one, and everything's all jumbled off into the upper left. So you can click and drag this thing around. That's the layers that we just made, those 3 layers. Now if you, up by the plus, there's a button that says resize. Press the resize, and then you can resize these different boxes. And everything is fixed at the top and fixed at the left. So if you click inside that box and drag up, the top won't move, but the bottom will. And I let go. Same thing with the, remember I said the left is locked and fixed. So if you click and drag out, it goes that way. And if you go in, it goes this way. So anyway, we're taking up, looks like 4 boxes. And then I click the move it button because now I want to move things. And I put that in the lower right. Now I'll click this one, drag this thing. This we won't use. This is the, this takes an extra step to get at things, and we don't need that. So we're going to click on this guy and then delete. Then click on the next thing and just drag it to the middle. Anywhere is fine. Eventually it's going to be on the top. Okay, so now we're going to add some buttons. So in the upper right, there's plus. Add a button. And then everything that you add that's new is going to come up in that left spot. So let's click and drag this over here. And let me pause for a second. Okay, so now we are going to, let's see. I'm trying to remember what I did with it. Okay, I added the new button. I put it up to the top. Oops. Up to the top. I'll click on it and then choose Edit. Let's see. And then let's change this label. Now we'll leave the label in the brackets, but the value we will change to monitors. Capital MONITORS. And done. Okay. And I'm going to change the theme that's sort of at the 3 boxes over from the label. I'll click on the regular and I'll change that to red. And then the actions on the right, add action. And it's going to be active. The type is going to be a mute group. So click on that and find at the bottom there, a little lower is mute group. Okay, and then so that's going to be mute group 1. And the upper left, click the arrow to go back. And then back. And then the one we just made, now it says mute group 1 monitors. You're going to click on it one time and choose clone at the top there and make a copy of it. Take that copy and drag it underneath the first one. Now click on it and edit. And then you are going to click on the label, and then we'll leave label there. And then instead of monitors, this is mute group is for the band. Now the mute groups are already actually configured in the digital mixer itself. So this is just the label tells you that the mute group is containing the band, but what it does is it just enables mute group number 2. So done. Okay. And then how we have the action in the right, we're not going to add an action. We're just going to click on the mute group 1 and then change that from group 1. We're going to click the 2 underneath it. Alright, because we're doing mute group 2. Back, back, then touch mute group 2, clone, drag it over, click it, edit, label, and this one is for the effects. Effects, done. Okay, click on the mute group 2 action, and that's gonna go to 3. Back, back, and select that guy and clone again. And then this one's gonna be a little bit fancier. So we're going to click and edit that one, and we are going to delete everything there, and we're going to title it mute sub, because it's going to meet the subwoofer. Done. Okay. And then in the mute group 3 action, click on that one. We're going to change that. And let's see here. The type, we're going to change that type from mute group to, let's see, fixed channel. A little higher, fixed channel. Fixed channel. And now on the left bottom, it says channel 1. We want to scroll down till we get to the mono channel, because the sub is going out on the mono channel. Not far now. Buses, mix, matrix, left, right, and then mono. Okay, so now mono, and the main is already highlighted and on is already highlighted, but the thing is we're going to want to invert this. So in the upper right, you see there's an invert button. Click on that and it will be selected. Alright, so then back and back, and there's the mute sub button. Okie dokie. So let's see, let me pause one more moment. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is add the faders for the signal going to the sub and for our bus master. So click on the plus, and we're going to add a channel strip. Drag it over here. Let's resize that and make it kind of narrow. There we go. Then move. There. One more. Click and edit. Okay, and the label for that is going to be sub. And then add an action. And then the type is not dynamic channel, it's a fixed channel. And we're going to scroll way down there again, past all the buses, etc. And auto mix, and then the effects. Okay, under LR is mono. Okay, and that's it. Now let's go ahead and well, click on that again and choose clone this time, and drag it over a bit. I'll resize that and make it a little bit bigger. I believe that's about what I had, and then we'll move it and click edit, and that one is called Bus Master. Bus Master. Okay, and then click on the channel thing, and the type is no longer fixed channel, but it is dynamic channel. It's dynamic to the page, basically, what we call those layers. So whatever layer is out, and actually it's more dynamic to the sends on fader there. So we don't want the selected channel, we want the bus master. Okay, and then click back there and back one more time. So now we are going to add a button, plus button, and then I believe that size is about right. Okay, so click on that to edit it and change the label and back all over that and just say mains. Mains is another terminology we use for front of house, the main speakers. Mains. Done. Okay. And so then we're going to add an action. And the type is sends on fader. Where did it go? There we go. Sends on fader. And off. So what this actually does, this is sort of a bit of trick coding. It doesn't actually select mains. It just means that there's no sends on fader, which basically reverts it back to the mains. So the same sends on fader is no longer. That means that the faders are normal. You know, they're not sending to monitors, etc. Okay, so back. And the theme, we're going to change that to white. And then back. And now click on it again and clone it. And draw the clone one down. Edit that one. And that one is going to be, let's see, Mon 1, which is monitor 1, monitor mix 1. Done. Okay, the theme is going to be red. And then we're going to change the action from sends on fader to, let's see, I'm sorry, it still sends on fader. It's just going to be bus 1. So sends on fader, bus 1. Back. And then, so the next thing is click on the Mon 1 and clone that. And it's now the clone is on the very top left corner. So you drag that one down, edit, and just going to change that from Mon 1 to Mon 2. And then click the sends on fader one, and we'll just go down to bus 2, back, click the monitor 2, clone, drag down, click, edit, monitor 3, mon 3, done, okay, sends on fader 2, go to bus 3, back, let's see where we're at here. Now I'll click on Mon 3, clone, drag down. Now we're going to put 3 more for our effects, or 4 more, I believe. Okay, so edit, and then we'll change that to, let's see, what's the next one? Band verb. So backspace over that. And reverb. For people who know about different types of reverb, what we currently have there is called a hall reverb, and it makes the reverb sound more like being in a large performance hall. And you don't want to go too heavy on it. Okay. So then, now we've changed these themes from red. We're going to go with green. So help you differentiate that. Click on the action sends on fader from bus 3 to actually bus 13. 13, back. Click on band verb and clone. Down. Edit. And this one is the vocal verb. And this reverb is a plate reverb, and it has a cleaner sound, and this is something that you may or may not want on a lead vocal, depending on the feel of the song. So, done. Okay. And then we keeping it green, and sends on fader is going to be bus 14. Back. Click the vocal verb, clone that, drag that down, edit. And the next thing, let's see, is a vocal delay. Done. Okay. And the delay sounds more like, I mean, it's still a form of reverb. It sounds more like an echo. It's the spacing is further apart. Okay, so we click on that and change that to bus 15. And then click on vocal delay, clone, drag it down, click and edit. And this one's a chorus. Okay, and that is bus 16. So the chorus basically attempts to make a type of reverb, and I think it has a slight pitch change, and what it attempts to do is make it sound like there's more people singing at one time. So this is something that you may put on, say for example, a backup singer, or if you had two backup singers, even better, to put a chorus on it. It may kind of extend that effect. And you may think of, well, this part where the backup singer's singing, would that sound better if it sounded like a chorus? Yeah, that's the basic idea. Okay, so now the last part, this guy in the middle, drag him over to the left, click on resize, and click and drag over, and I click move just to get off of that, and I believe that's done. So that's new. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, that's what you got. And that's the end. Again, feel free to ask me any questions.